Hi guys, I thought on this day I would bring you guys along to show you some of the things that we make on the homestead. So today I'm making my recipe. I call them Krabby Patties. They're just salmon patties. So I put my salmon, my tuna. If you guys have been here very long, you remember the breadcrumbs that we made together. I am using those on this day. This was only 4 eggs, but I did end up having to add one more, so that's why I put 5 eggs. Some salt, pepper, oregano, paprika, garlic powder. And I also ended up using the dried tomato, the tomato pills that we made together. I feel like the big question every day is what's going to be for dinner, what's going to be for dinner. So maybe this will give you some inspiration. I do have my cast iron heating up on the stove to medium-high heat. And I just pan fried them in a vegetable oil. Those are those breadcrumbs that we made together. I'm putting them to use. I actually made a couple more batches since then, and we used some as croutons and just didn't grind them. We just broke them into small pieces. And here I am just making them into patties, just like you would do a hamburger patty, and putting them on the hot skillet so they will get nice and browned. You can see these first ones, how they're kind of coming apart. That's why I did add another egg. The salmon and the tuna are already cooked, of course, so you're really just cooking these long enough to get that good browning and crispness. I did end up getting about 15 patties out of this. I figured I would make more than we needed so that I could put some up for throughout the week. These turned out beautiful. We had them on some buns with some peppers and jalapenos. Next, I made some homemade Pop-Tarts. So what I did is I just made a typical pie crust and filled it with some strawberry jam and made little Pop-Tarts. Now, I did learn quite a bit doing this. I'm not much of a sweet maker or like making desserts as far as baking them. And so this is still a learning process for me. So if you have any tips on how to get this pie crust to turn out better, let me know. I know I was trying to keep the frozen butter cold, but also trying to get it to mix into the flour. So I had a lot of questions there, but I just kind of did my best. I wish that I added more salt than I did, so I will remember that next time. Also, once we ate the Pop-Tarts, I realized they're not store-bought, so I could have added a lot more jam and made them more like a pie, and that would have been really good. So here I've got a little helper, and we're just getting all of our ingredients together. We cut this in, and like I said, this is where I had a lot of questions because it didn't seem to be really incorporating, so we kind of smashed it with our hands to melt some of the butter. So now we're just getting it and cutting the shapes. I was kind of just winging it this day. Looking back, I realized like I could have used my like dough cutter, like a pizza cutter type dough cutter, and made these a little nicer, but it was just a last minute idea. I've had this store-bought jam in the house for a while, so I figured I would go ahead and use it up before using our homemade ones. And the store-bought was thicker. It had more of a jam consistency. Mine turned out to be kind of half syrup, half jelly. So I figured this would be better for this application. And it was really good. So you can see here I'm putting a real thin layer because in my head I'm thinking Pop-Tart, like store-bought, hardly has anything in the middle. But afterwards I realized this would have been really good more as little pies. So I think next time I will do more like that. I am attempting to stretch these to kind of make them match the bottoms so that I can smash down the corners. I did go around and put water around the edges. I don't really know if that's how pie crust works, but I know I've done that with egg rolls and things of that kind of situation, so y'all let me know if that's how you also seal your pies and Pop-Tarts and things. And I did end up putting an egg wash on these, and like I said, they turned out tasty.